I think we all knew in the back of our minds, even though we feigned this whole line of like, there probably aren't any really bad unintended consequences. I think in the back, deep recesses of our minds, we kind of knew something bad could happen. It literally is a point now where I think we have created tools that are ripping apart the social fabric of how society works.
This was Jamaat Palihapitiya, a former Facebook executive who, along with a growing number of Silicon Valley insiders, is coming out publicly to encourage us all to take the massive negative long-term effects of social media serious. While lots of the commentary regarding this topic is rightfully focusing, for example, on the failed responsibility of these social media networks, or the underlying capitalist profit-seeking systems and ideologies behind these problems, or very importantly also on the structure of the algorithms, which are creating these feedback loops that increase our addiction to these platforms and push us into increasingly smaller filter bubbles. I think, however, that one major topic is always missing, namely our own role as the oil that fuels this whole social media machine. Because I think one of the major problems here is that we aren't conscious about the fact that we are the product of social media. We don't really see ourselves as a product that Facebook, Snapchat, Google and others make their money with, and that the advertising companies or brands using these platforms are the actual customers, the group social media companies adhere to primarily. We watch a 30-second ad in exchange for a video with really poor sentence after sentence, hour after hour into status updates, into likes and comments. None of this depletes our bank balances. None of this has an immediate conceivable negative effect on us. Yet it has a cost. The cumulative cost of increased social media use, while it's of course hard to quantify, affects many of the things we usually hope to put at the heart of a happy life and a healthy society. Rich and meaningful relationships, for example, rewarding leisure activities, a happy and peaceful mind, civil discourse and the exchange of ideas and information. But because we are increasingly using social media in a sort of TV-like autopilot way, we kind of miss to put the adequate value on our attention. But this attention is essentially the oil that fuels the social media machine, that fuels the profits of social media companies, that fuels the code of the algorithms that create the filter bubbles that divide us. And the more we use social media, the shorter our attention spans get and the faster our little short-term happiness or dopamine spikes for likes and comments on our posts fade away. This is consequently making our attention even more precious, which leads to a so to say re-engineering of the social media machine and new ways of trying to grab our attention, from text to image to video, from interesting but maybe boring and long content to short, entertaining, engaging and shocking content. And it doesn't help that our brains evolved during a time when we had to constantly be on edge in order to perceive and spot danger, which is why we react more to inputs that are negative or that produce anger or fear. So what if your attention had a concrete value? What if your daily attention was worth, let's say, $1,000? So every morning you wake up, your bank account of $1,000 of attention is full. Imagine, however, that every time you use social media, every time you like a picture, you watch a video, you comment or you share something, you lose some of that attention money to these social media companies. Thinking like that is useful because that is exactly how Facebook and others think about their users and how they make money with them, by hacking and selling their attention. And it is not only a useful way to think about one's own use of social media, but also helps to become more mindful and aware in general about how we use our time, about how we use our attention, and about how our surroundings and the tools we use are influencing us. Yes, technology, social media companies, and the capitalist fabrics that constitute the way social media is set up are having a tremendous influence on how we use social media and what it has done with us. And yes, all that should also change, but it is easy to blame the algorithms or the profit-seeking tech and ad companies. It is, however, much harder, but in my opinion, much more important to blame ourselves. Because we still have the power to decide how we want to use these new tools and how we want to lose our attention money. We are the ones to decide whether we want to be the oil that fuels the machine or not.